Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to share some happy feelings with you guys. I read an article by USA Today, and the title of the article was Gun Control is a Lost Cause, Come Despair with Me. Okay, and I giggled, I laughed when I read that. Before I even read the article, I kind of knew exactly what they were going to say. And here's the thing, the anti-gunners have always assumed that the NRA was the driving force behind American gun culture. They had this idea in their head that if they could destroy the NRA, American gun culture would collapse. Okay, they had this idea that there was just a tiny, small percentage of people in this country that owned guns. They believed that maybe 1 or 2% of the population had something like 90% of the guns. This is the stuff that they were living on, right? Now that the NRA has pretty much, collapsed, okay, they're looking at the situation. They're like, wait a second, why are people still buying guns? The NRA is not telling them to buy guns anymore. Why are they still buying guns? They just don't understand the American culture. The hardcore anti-gunners are the ones that are, in fact, a tiny percentage of the American population. Okay, and they can't understand why they can't fathom the idea that a large percentage of the population would want to buy, own, and shoot guns, and mostly recreationally. Okay, most people that buy guns and shoot guns just do it because it's fun. Only a small I think only a small percentage of the people that buy and own guns do it initially for self-defense purposes, or that might be the thing that kind of spurs them into it. But once they get into the gun culture, they start to enjoy it, and they start to see beyond that. So this is coming like a huge surprise to the anti-gunners. They're like they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. And again, these are like the hardcore anti-gunners. Now, within that group, you got, there's two other kind of like subgroups that I see. All right, one is the group that's in it for the money. Okay, those are the people that are milking Michael Bloomberg. Okay, those guys have always known that that gun control is a lost cause, but they're like, you know what? You got this idiot Michael Bloomberg that's throwing money into this. Let's try and get as much money as we can out of that fool. So I think that's a big chunk of the anti-gunners. Okay, and the other side of that, I think is kind of like the maybe the anti-gun law enforcement side. Particularly in the cities, and they're just basically looking to make their job as easy as possible. Okay, they're not interested in individual rights. If they could, they would prefer to have the ability to just randomly stop people, search them, frisk them, question them. Okay, so that's the other side of the anti-gunners that I see, the hardcore. Big government types, right? That want absolute control, the authoritarian types. Okay, so those are the two kind of subgroups I see within the anti-gun culture. And it was really cool when I saw this article. It's like, it's funny. It's like they actually thought that they could stop the gun culture, right? They really believed that the American gun culture was the NRA. Okay. Which is kind of mind blowing, and the bigger picture beyond this, right? Because now they've actually come to realize that it's not just 1 or 2 or 3% of the population that's buying all the guns. It's probably about 40 to 50% of the population that's buying the guns and is buying a lot of them, and they're buying lots of ammunition. And there's absolutely no way that the government can ever get those guns back, or even get them registered. Because here's the thing, over the last 10 years, people have been buying guns with the intention, all right, of never registering them, never surrendering them. That's kind of been their mindset going into it. Okay, so it's not like it'd be one thing if this issue didn't exist, right? And then all of a sudden the government came out and said, okay, you all gotta register your guns, like you gotta whatever, register your garbage, whatever. People are like, okay, I guess it's the thing we gotta do now. People are buying guns and have been buying guns with the intention of never registering them, never surrendering them. And there's absolutely nothing that the government or the anti-gunners can ever do about it. Because here's the thing, people are like, oh, well, people register their cars, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. You drive on public roads, okay? You're in this big vehicle. You face the reality of being pulled over and, being asked for your driver's license, registration, and insurance. And it's not like you can say, there's no car, I'm not in the car, because you're obviously in the car, okay? So you're out in the public, you're visibly inside your vehicle, and what happens is if you don't produce the paperwork that the government requires from you, what they're going to do is they're going to kidnap you, right? Which is basically another, kidnapping you, which is another word for arresting you, right? Because when they arrest you for a non-violent crime, right? You didn't hurt anybody. They're basically kidnapping you and they're holding you for ransom, right? They want you to pay your fines, pay your penalties, right? So they're basically they're kidnapping you and they're holding you for ransom. So that's something that they're able to do with a car because it's big. You're obviously in it. But here's the thing: these guns over here, right? They don't go out in public, all right? It's not like I'm walking down the street with one of these things strapped to my back, where a cop can come up to me and say, "Hey, let me see your paperwork for that gun." That's not the way it works. Okay? When I carry my gun, it's concealed. They can't see it. Okay, so they can't come up to me and say, "Hey, papers, where's the registration for that gun?" All right. So now, if they ever did get around to passing something like gun registration, yeah, maybe I would register 2 guns. My carry gun and maybe 1 gun that I plan to use for home defense. Right. So in case I ever did have to use it in a self-defense type of situation, I can say, "Hey, I used my registered gun." But all the other guns, I'm not gonna register those, all right? So that's the mentality of the gun culture. It's like, we will not comply, all right? So the anti-gunners are starting to catch on to this. They realize that there's absolutely nothing that they can do to win at this point. The gun culture is spreading. It's growing faster and faster. We're bringing more and more people to our side. People are getting into it that like just 10, 15 years ago, you would never imagine. I mean, I've trained Hasidic women to shoot guns, okay? Which is like, Hasidic women from New York City, no less. Quite a few of them. I've trained them to shoot guns. So, that's how far the gun culture is expanding and growing. People love guns, and in some way, the left has actually played a big role in expanding the gun culture with all the Hollywood movies that they produce. Because, people get completely the wrong idea. A lot of people that watch these Hollywood movies, they don't even realize that they got to aim the guns or reload the guns. But people see these movies, they make these actors look cool, and it's like, yeah, let me try this thing out, and then, that's how we get them over to our side. We get them shooting some guns, they start loving it, and all of a sudden we got them hooked, right? And that's how we continue to grow our gun culture. And the best thing anything that any of you guys can do is take somebody to the range with you that's never shot a gun before, right? Take them to the range, have them shoot something small like some 22s, start them off with that, get them hooked. And again, the best, I said this like 10 years ago. In fact, the reason why I became a gun instructor, right, was not to make money. The reason why I became a gun instructor is because I wanted to spread the gun culture, okay? And I feel like I've been pretty successful in that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not a member of my channel, please subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.